Hey everybody and welcome back. In today's video, I want to cover the answer to a question that I've been getting a lot lately. And that question is, how much does it cost to start making my own jigs? The answer to that varies on the level of commitment that you want to make as a tackle crafter. So I'm going to go over a few different options for you, from extremely affordable to maybe what some people would consider expensive. So let's jump into it. You want to start making your own jigs and you don't know where to begin. The easiest way to go about it would be to go to fishingskirts.com and click on Shop Boss. From there, you'll click on Boss Jig Heads, and they'll have every shaped jig head under the sun there that you can purchase. And they're about $6 or $7 for a 10-pack, maybe $8 for a 10-pack. And they're going to show up. This is one that I made here in the shop. I don't have anything from Boss handy to show you guys, but they're going to show up, and they're going to look just like this. They're not going to have a skirt on them. You're going to have the option to get them in black, green pumpkin, or brown. But they will have the weed guard already installed in them, and they're going to look just like this guy here. What you're going to do then is you're going to go and you're going to pick out some of these. These are the pre-made banded skirts. I want to say these are about $6 a pack. You're going to get 5 skirts per pack, and you're really simply just going to put a jig together. So out of the package, they're going to look like this. And you'll notice that one end is slightly longer than the other. I like to use that for the top side of my jig. So we're going to flip that guy. We're going to try to fan out that skirt as best we can so we get nice even distribution around the entire jig head. I use this skirt all the time. I will go ahead and actually thread tie this one onto my jigs, but I do use this skirt quite a bit, you guys, and I enjoy this. It's a really good bluegill imitator, I think. But now I got that kind of situated the way I want it. I'm gonna get my weed guard just out of the way a little bit, and we're gonna thread right through the middle of that. We got 2 hurdles we got to clear. We got to clear the bait keeper, and then we got to clear the collar keeper. Oops, I'm off camera there. Sorry about that. We got to clear the bait keeper, and we've got to clear the collar keeper. And then we're just going to push that right on up. And we have cleared the bait keeper, and there we are. We're over the collar keeper. That jig, you could trim it up a little. I would cut that weed guard back for sure. But you can trim it to the length that you want it and just kind of situate your strands. But that is absolutely a fishable jig, and it took me under 30 seconds to make that in total, I think. Again, go to Boss, buy the pre-painted heads. They're going to have your brush guard already installed, and get some of these banded skirts. And away you go. They have these in so many different colors, whether you want to imitate a bait fish, a craw, you want a black and blue, a peanut butter and jelly, you name it, they've probably got it. And it's a really easy way to put together a jig quick. So almost no investment there, right? You guys are going to buy your jig heads, you're going to buy your skirts. Let's say you can get 10 skirts, 2 packs of these. Let's say that's $12, and you buy 10 jig heads for 8. You're going to get 10 jigs for about $20 plus some shipping, and you're going to have a few skirts left over for the next go around. So what are we talking? After shipping and everything, we're talking $2.50, maybe $3 a jig at most. Still cheaper than going out and buying even a Strike King jig at the tackle shop, and you're going to get some say over the color in it. Now, your next option would be to go to the same website. This is a jig head that I poured, but you can buy unpainted jig heads from Boss. And they're going to come in raw, just like this. So now you got to have a way to paint them. So this is going to add a little bit of an expense to your equation here, because you're going to also need a way to make the skirts. Your options for paint are limitless in terms of color. You really have 2 different types of material that you can choose from, in my opinion. I mean, you could dip them in paint, but I don't think I would go that route personally. I would go with the ProTech powder paint. This is the Mango Magic. That's the color you just saw me put a skirt on, a Mango Magic head. The drawback to ProTech powder paint is that you're going to have a way to cure this. You have to bake this to get the finish to cure, and you need it to be at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes to get it to cure. I do that in a toaster oven that I picked up at a garage sale for $10. So pretty minimal investment. If you find one at Goodwill, find one at a garage sale, yard sale, rummage sale. What do you guys call it? That's always a hot topic around here. I say garage sale. I hear oftentimes people say yard sale, and then my wife always calls them rummage sales, which I was like, what are you doing, rummaging through people's garbage. Maybe that's what their yard sale is, but garage sale, yard sale, rummage sale. What do you guys go with? I kind of like garage sale or yard sale. I rarely say rummage sale. But anyways, back to the topic at hand, which is the paint. The other option is this stuff right here. This is called Stardust. And this comes from barlowstackle.com. Stardust, you still need a heat source. You're going to heat your lead up. You're going to dip it in here, and it's going to come out, and it's going to look really rough, you guys. So what you're going to do then is you're going to return it to the heat until it smooths out, and you'll see it. You can see it happen in real time. As soon as it's smooth, you're just going to dunk it in some cold water, and that's it. You're done. That jig is cured, and it's ready to be made into a fishing jig. So Stardust, no toaster oven required. ProTech powder, going to require a toaster oven. And I say it requires a toaster oven because I don't know if it's safe or not to bake lead in your oven upstairs with paint on it in your kitchen. And even if it is, if you're married, don't do it. Your wife's not going to be happy with you if you do it. Just go get a toaster oven. Brand new, you can probably pick one up for $50, I would imagine. If you can find one used somewhere, you're going to pay $10 like I did. So your startup cost is going to be however many jars of paint that you want to buy, and your unpainted jig heads. And then the other thing you're going to need to buy is a bag of weed guards, because the unpainted ones will not come with a weed guard in them. You can get them in any color. The nice thing about buying your weed guards, you can get them in several colors, and you can get them in, this is a medium. I like the medium for where I fish. I don't need a super stiff weed guard, but you can get them in a stiff or a medium, or I think there might even be a regular too that's a little softer than that yet. I wouldn't go much softer than the medium myself, but I think a bag of 100 of those is about $7 or $8. You're going to need one of these guys right here. And I wish that I had some of the O-rings so that I could show you how to make a jig out of this, but it's a really easy process. You guys, you're going to buy a bag of the, you're going to buy this tool, $7 or $8. You're going to buy a bag of the collars, again, probably $6 or $7, and then you're going to have to buy tabs. Those come from the same website, fishingskirts.com. You can buy them like this in a 10-pack, or you can buy them in big bulk packs of 100. I would suggest start out small, find a few patterns that you really, really like and that you're really confident in. If you develop a pattern that you're in love with and you want to use it all the time, then probably go out and buy the 100-pack of tabs. But this 10-pack of tabs is anywhere from $2 to $3 depending on which patterns you buy and how intricate they are. But on average, $2.50 for 10 tabs. Each jig is going to use 2 to 2.5 tabs, and so they're cheap, you guys. And then when you have this tool, and here's what they look like individually. They're uncut on the ends. You can see, let me hold that up, see if you can get a better look. So you can see that they're uncut on each end. Okay, you're gonna stack up, let's just pretend for this argument's sake, we're gonna make a 2-tab jig. We're gonna pull that off now because we have to imagine we've already loaded our O-rings onto there. The hook is gonna hang out there. We're gonna pick our tabs up that we've stacked. We've got 2 different colors here. And we're going to hook that right about in the middle, just like that. And then from there, you would pull it to about the halfway point. And then you would take and you would roll your O-ring down, and then your O-ring would pop down onto the threads, and then you'd pull it back out, and you would have a finished skirt that would look very similar to one of these, just that the ends wouldn't be cut on it, okay? Then you're going to thread that onto your jig, and you are going to super glue your brush guard in, and you are done, and you have still made a very minimal investment into the hobby of making your own jigs. I would say if you're going to start out this way so that you have total control. Buy a couple of cans of the paint, whether you buy the Stardust or the powder coating, or buy both. You know, get a black, get a green pumpkin, get a brown to get started. See how you're gonna like it before you go full ham. I always tell everybody, just don't dive into it until you know it's something you want to do. Now, on the bigger end of the spectrum, you could add a vise to the equation. Using the exact same jig heads from Boss, you can add a vise. This is the first vise that I ever bought. It just clamps onto your workbench. It does rotate 360. This one's broken though. It doesn't have enough tension in it anymore to actually hold the hooks, but I picked this up years ago for like 25 bucks. I think they're about 40 now for a relatively inexpensive vise. You can get one for 40 bucks, and then you're going to need a bobbin and some thread. If you're going to thread tie, you'll need a bobbin like this right here. This one is from a company called Stonefoe. I picked these up at my local fly shop. I have several of these laying around the shop. They're about 10 bucks a piece. And then the sky's the limit from there. The vise that I normally tie on is this guy right here. This is the Renzetti Saltwater Traveler. What I like about the Saltwater Traveler is that it takes up to like a 7/0 hook. Now, I don't normally tie on anything more than a 5, but some of the smaller vises don't like 4 and 5/0 hooks. They're designed for those tiny little fly hooks. So get yourself the Saltwater Traveler. If you want to go full ham, you're going to spend a few $100s on one of those. But again, it's a full true rotary. Comes with a really sturdy base, or you can buy it with the clamp so that you can clamp it to your bench. It's really up to you. I like having it on the portable stand myself. So from there, you may add a lead pot and molds. So you can see where I'm going. Once you go down the full wormhole, you could probably spend, let's just go nuts and say, I don't know how much a lead pot is. It's been so long since I bought a Lee production pot years and years ago. I would imagine they're 150, maybe 200 bucks. So let's just say it's 200 bucks for the lead pot. Each mold from Do It Molds that you're going to buy through Barlow's is going to run you $55 or $60. So if you're not careful, before it's all said and done, you could probably spend $1,000 to get started. A decent little scissors is a must too, you guys. This one I picked up at the Chicagoland Fishing Expo. And you can get them at your fly shop, but any decent scissors from your craft shop will do. You don't need to go out and go crazy on a scissors. I mean, you can go over to Hobby Lobby and probably pick one up for $7 or $8 if you want to go that direction. But again, it really depends on how committed you want to be to the hobby of making your own jigs. I would encourage everybody to start like I did with one of these guys right here, just to make sure you're going to be into it and that you're going to enjoy it. And then, you know, you can add pieces to the puzzle as you go. You don't have to lay out the whole $1,000 at once. You can start here. Down the road, you may find yourself wanting to add a vise, whether you buy an inexpensive one or, I mean, I think there's Renzettis that'll cost upwards of $700-800. You don't have to do all that, though, is what I'm saying. You can do this a little bit at a time. You can enjoy the process, and as you go along, add more pieces to the puzzle. You can continue with the unpainted jigs from Boss for a long, long time. They have just about every shape, from a ball head to they have skipping jigs, they have pitching jigs, flipping jigs, football head jigs, you name it, they've got it on there. So you can pick it up relatively inexpensive with a pretty good hook in it. I like to pour my own. I've been pouring on BKK hooks a lot this year. I like to use Gamakatsu hooks a lot. Owner hooks are really good. You know, again, and even with the hooks, the sky's the limit. You can go bottom of the barrel and buy the Victory hooks for probably 10 cents a hook, or you can get, like I said, up into the BKKs and the Gamis, which are going to run you 50 to 60 cents a hook, depending on what kind of quantity you're buying in one shot. But it's really up to you guys to spend as much as you're comfortable with. But again, if you're just starting out, get you a nice little tool like this. Get a pack of the collars. Start off with, you know, a couple packs of the painted jig heads from Boss. You know, start off with either the pre-made skirts or one of these, and you know, buy the 10 packs like this. Pick out some colors that you think you're interested in. These, again, they're $2 to $3 a package for a 10 pack, and then start experimenting with your color patterns. And once you find, you'll probably dial in on 3 or 4, maybe 5 patterns that you're going to want to carry in your box at all times. And when you get dialed in on those, then buy the 100 packs of tabs, and you'll save a little bit for buying in bulk. But overall, you guys, it's a great hobby. I think there's something that's a little more rewarding about catching fish on things that you've crafted, and sometimes it's fun if you can go out there and beat them up on a jig that your buddy doesn't have access to, and he's going to be wondering where you got it, and then eventually you can break down and tell them, hey, I made my own, good luck. You know, so it can be fun from that aspect as well too. So just enjoy it as you go, and like I said, you don't have to go all in one shot, you guys. You can start doing this for very little investment, and hopefully this video gives you guys the confidence to go out and start, and it makes you realize you don't have to go out and spend tons and tons of money to get into jig making. Just take it slow, enjoy the process, and just build as you go and as you learn, and get better and better, you're going to want to add more pieces to the puzzle. I can almost guarantee it. But again, I hope the information helped you guys out. I hope you guys start going into the jig making hobby a little bit, and drop me a comment below if you do. Let me know what kind of success you're having on them. I always appreciate hearing that from people. You know, it's fun to hear when people let you know, hey, I caught a PB on a jig that I made myself, and that's always a really rewarding thing. So I hope everybody enjoys it. Good luck, everybody. Tight lines. Thanks again for watching.